Alright, we're back. So this is the third video for this roguelike mode. And into the 11th voyage here. So this one's for equipment. At the end of turn, get a shield. Okay. It's one of these. So the Forest Aura allows me to walk across the water easier, which is always nice. So I'm just using the Forest Aura here to approach my enemy easier on this dumb water map. Easy. Yeah, so I take the mistletoe because I don't think I have a healing staff yet. Going for more equipment. Magic damage taken minus 50%. Not a problem. Just throw the water off this little thing. The armor, bloodline. There's Fetter Crown. So I take the Gaia armor here because I figure it's better to have a one-hit defense when you're at high HP rather than the RNG bloodline. Another Apex map here. Well, these wolves have Battle Cry, which is pretty annoying because they can dispel the Forest Aura, which I don't think happened here. Earthquake, Power Stab, Phoenix Wave. So here I take Earthquake because I figure maybe at some point I'll try to build an AoE character if I get enough resources for it, but that never happens. Yeah, so you can see right here the enemies have increased normal attack range as the time law, which is very, very annoying. Yeah, but because of time laws like these, you can't just create an enemy phase oriented team. Mimir's Hammer, which is not that useful. Holy Grail. I mean, I didn't really need another Judge Talisman at this point. I had enough offensive accessories, so I took the Holy Grail for some possible utility in the future. Physical damage taken minus 50%. You'll see that, as you can see, like these like damage taken time walls are really common. It's not too hard to punch them given some of the crazy abilities that you can get. But it does tell you that you should probably try not to make a team that's all one type of damage. So as I'm recording this, the Overlord information just came out, and I edited the wiki a little bit to reflect that. I gotta say I'm not that interested in the Overlord collab. I pretty much know nothing about Overlord myself, but the units themselves have not really convinced me that I should pay any attention to them. I think I know, like, I was talking to Nitroglycerin the other day, and he said that he's been trying to build a dark box, and he's very interested in the Overlord collab because of that. And I think that's kind of interesting that Dark Faction is looking at. Dark Faction is definitely looking at a lot of buffs in the coming months. You know, first they're gonna get well, finally here I get Tranquility, which is something I've been looking for a while. Just any guard that could guard any both types of damage. So very nice that I finally get that, instead of having to stick to the Lance Phalanx. I would have preferred Peace of Mind or something, but yeah, can't be picky about it. But anyway, as I was saying, Overlord collab and Licorice and a lot of other additions to the Dark Faction are coming. So I think it's going to be interesting seeing how the meta shifts in the coming months, because it's very clear right now that they are putting more attention to the Tensei faction and the Dark Faction. For a while they were putting a lot of effort into the Mythical faction. I think they've chilled out on that a little bit because the Mythical faction has become kind of crazy. This map is pretty annoying because of Letitia. She just makes everybody walk really far, and these enemies are actually starting to threaten me. So I can't just Leroy Jenkins my way in and expect to win. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting seeing people build dark parties, because it's the bad guy group. It's the bad guy faction. Gotta let the bad guys have their time in the day. Yeah, so here I feel like Kirikaze is definitely the biggest problem for me. Kirikaze would have easily one-shot my Freya here, I think. Although, I mean, as you saw, Freya died anyway. But at this point, it's probably not a huge deal. You know, whenever dying, who cares? I have a Lancer left over, which means Letitia is not a concern at all. Alright, victory. I'm gonna start up. Earthquake again, Aurora Rain, Sword Soul. Sword Soul again. You know, obviously I don't need another copy of Sword Soul probably, so... I don't think Aurora Rain is going to be particularly useful, given the skills I already have. But... So now I have Lanford, Brenda, and Liana at 6 stars. That's one of the things that I feel like bottlenecks you in this game, or rather, like, it really limits you in this mode. Because even though you might be... Because even though some people might figure that they want to create a balanced team or have more than 5 characters they can rely on, I feel like the star upgrade item really limits you on that. If you want to be able to beat the challenge fights that are at the end of this mode. So, thankfully I have the juggler talent, because if I did not, these AoEs might have just straight up killed Rachel, who is really frail. It doesn't help that I keep getting bad equipment choices, because a lot of my characters are still like half naked. This is the new staff that came with the Cold Steel collab. I just take the Demon Litter skin. There's really not much else I could have taken there. The wand that dropped was the Cold Steel wand, which adds +1 skill range if you're standing on neutral terrain. I don't think it's that useful. I think it's super gimmicky. Symmetry with Fireball. Just removing a bunch of debuffs here. Rachel finishing off. Victory. Let's see. Aurora Ring again, Hegemony, and Elven Aura. So I take Elven Aura even though I don't have a melee spellcaster. I mean, it's not a big deal because it's a 1-2 range attack. Okay, so here we have a upgrade store, or one of the upgrade buildings. So obviously here, again, I need to upgrade my weapons. I think that's probably the first thing you should upgrade. Armor on the tank. Accessories to get more attack. And of course, the ability increases. So I can actually go up to level 4, which means I can cap them now. So I'm capping damage reduction abilities on Freya. As you saw, like, Freya's become very tanky. So here I can choose. I want to take one of the top 2 routes so I can go to the store. Here I targeted. I was trying to attack 2 range with Rachel. I accidentally clicked on someone next to her. But apparently Rachel's quite good at shooting fireballs into someone's face as well. Alright, some abilities. Hero attack. When attacked, you have... that's the ice enchant. And this one is when you are attacking, attack plus 30. Oh, so this is rough C, basically. So I think rough C, of course, because I mean I've been playing kind of a player phase oriented playstyle right now. Freya's not really doing a lot of counter damage, so I've been mostly killing enemies on player phase. Okay, go Demon Slayer. This one's the Toguro 3-cost skill. So just taking the HP off of Brenda to make her do more damage. So now I have too many offensive abilities, so I need to figure out which ones I want. Alright, so the boss fight here. Okay, when your action ends, you will gain a shield, which reduces damage by 50% last one turn. So I pretty much just buff up this first turn and wait for them to come to me. Mostly I want to get rid of Bolzel first, because Bolzel is always so annoying. I think the rest of the enemies shouldn't really be an issue. Freya in a bit of danger there, but yeah, I think she's tanking enough to take it. Freya being able to heal herself is really just it's just a really great convenience, because otherwise, I mean, what else is the tank gonna do really? Like, usually I feel like having your tank go offensive is very awkward, because then it places the guard range in a way that it's very hard to line up your other characters. Alright, Flower Bonnet, Ruler's Bow, Extreme Magic Bow. I take the Extreme Magic Bow, even though I already took one earlier. I think I just forgot that I had it. That's okay, this one's higher level, so... So, this next stage I will be getting another hero. Physical damage taken minus 50% again. Okay, Layden, Gerald and Layla, Sumire. I think when I was here, I know I dismissed Sumire out of hand because I don't think Sumire really offered anything to my team, so I was pretty much stuck between Gerald and Layla and Layden here. Gerald and Layla is actually a pretty good support unit, but I took Layden anyway just because I figured it'd be nice to have a backup tank in case Freya dies. Oh no, the enemies are actually getting to a point where I can't one-shot them sometimes. This one's Breeze. That one's HP. So yeah, I'll take the Breeze, of course. Just need more damage. So bottom one's weapon or equipment. The top one is for abilities. Or rather, this one's for skills. So One random debuff on enemies when you end your turn, or 2 random debuffs. It looks like. So just a lot of debuff cancer here. Thankfully, these kind of time laws only give the like attack and defense debuffs. They don't give out like silence and heal block and stuff. That would be awful. So Brenda, crazy damage here. She manages to kill an infantry. Iris teleports, and that is the Rainforest 3-cost skill. So not that useful for me. I don't need a physical AoE right now. That's Excitation from Olivier. Again, this is the one where you end your turn, where the enemy ends their turn, they'll get a shield, 50% damage. Can't really approach them turn 1 though, from what I can tell, so. Just gonna have to let them get the shield. Alright, so that is the Crystal Enchant, which I actually think would be very useful at this point. Because I didn't have, this one's Intelligence, this one's Praise again. So I don't have that many upgrades for my healer yet, but I also wouldn't have minded taking the Breeze too, because, I mean, Breeze is always very powerful. But I take the healing power for Liana. She doesn't really have that many things to equip right now. Normal attack range +2, so it's one of these again, where yeah, the enemy's gonna pelt me with attacks from 3 range. Or in the case of the Leviathan, it can attack from 4 range. So Liana just healing for a lot more now that she has the Crystal Enchant. Okay, life. Okay, when you finish, oh, this is ruthless. When you crit, you get a bunch of stats. Breeze again. So, yeah, I think breeze. I don't think the other two are particularly useful right now. Obviously, I equip breeze onto Brenda here because extra movement's always nice, especially for low movement units like Brenda. All right, so let's fight the boss of. It's 13, so magic damage taken minus 50%. So we have Alfred there and Scott. Some Piritus over there. Very sneaky. And Alfred attempted to give Beach Party to everybody else, but nobody wanted to participate, so he went to the beach on his own. Hey, this Alfred has water control. He's cheating. Alfred doesn't have water control. Okay. So, it's not a problem in this stage because they all decided to sit around and buff each other and then run directly into me, so... Scott decides to mass attack just himself. Learning from Alfred's example from earlier. Stall should not be too big of a problem here. Store up item. Alright, okay, so this is Maya's talent, which is actually pretty good, but instead I take, this is Arian Rod's talent. So this Arian Rod talent I take because I didn't really have to think much about it because as soon as I saw Arian Rod's talent I was like, oh wait, it's an act again. It's also a damage reduction talent, which means I can put on Freya and she gets even more damage reduction when she's at high HP anyway, but when she's at low HP she'll get to act again, which I can use in any number of ways. Arian Rod just has a very good talent. Okay, physical damage taken minus 50%. Yeah, you probably noticed that there's only like maybe 2 or 3 time walls so far. I mean, they tend to be the kind of annoying ones, where they just reduce the damage you deal. So far, the time walls don't seem too unreasonable. They basically are designed in a way so that you don't. They punish people for having teams that are too one-dimensional. Which I don't think is too bad. I mean, even if you had nothing but physical DPS, to be honest, you could probably break past their physical their damage reduction because of how strong your character can get from all those abilities. You'll see later, the time laws are not so reasonable later on. You'll see. So Brenda just wreaking havoc with her talent. Acting again. Alright, Gospel, Faith, and Heal. So I don't think I really needed Heal at this point. Faith is kind of nice. Faith is nice simply for the fact that, you know, it does heal, but it also increases damage, which I think some people forget about. But I think Gospel. You know, Gospel is always nice if you want to prevent kill block or whatever. I don't think I actually saw Mass Attack or those kind of spells anywhere when I was progressing through this mode, so that's kind of interesting actually. I mean, Chivalry, I saw Chivalry once in a while, but I did not see I did not see Strength and Shield, Resist, or any of those type of just direct buff spells, which is kind of an interesting way. I don't know if it's just that I didn't see them, or if they just decided to remove those from the pool. Yeah, so the nice thing about the Arena Raw Talon is that every time Freya gets attacked, she gets a stacking buff that just makes her stronger. Okay, Rough Sea, HP, and this one is Archer. Basically like leather armor, wearing units get more intelligence. Obviously I'm not going to take that. I take the Rough Sea. So at this point I kind of figure I try to shift away a little bit from Lanford using a crit-based build. Eventually I'm going to like try to take off the critical damage and all those critical hit rate and critical damage abilities that Lanford has, because I'll find later that they're actually not that useful because of the way they designed this mode. Lots of breezes. Not that I need them, but yeah. Annoyingly, that Treant surviving with like 500 life or something. Just after stealing Brenda's frontal assault. So you saw Brenda got stunned there, and that's because of the time wall here. Which is another reason why it's nice that I got the Sage's Hat, because Sage's Hat prevents stun. Okay, Lancer HP. This one is just HP, this one is damage, this one is critical hit rate. So once again, the top branch in the final stage, or like the second to last stage, is a store. I don't have to worry about that, but obviously if I was at the bottom stage at this point, I probably wouldn't want to move up. The Area Rod talent also like stacks when she gets attacked and when she ends her turn in enemy threat range. So that's just another way for me to just get even more damage reduction on Freya here. Although one thing I have to be careful about is accidentally activating the act again, because Area Rod's talent lets her act again when she's below a certain amount of HP, and obviously Freya is a tank, so she'll be taking a lot of hits. And I don't want to get into a situation where I accidentally trigger the act again and then lose my guard because I took an extra turn. Staff, Astaroth, and another healing staff. Well, I take the healing staff even though I don't really need it because Pale Staff sucks in my opinion. And Astaroth is not that useful in this mode unless you have very specific characters. Okay, so that's Sprint again. This is Sonia's 3-cost, Twilight Star, and that is Apex Boots, the Chinese version of Apex Boots, which is a Christmas special item. Oh, that one's Ultimator's 3-cost skill. So, S2 and I talked about Ultimator's 3-cost skill when it came out. Well, quote-unquote talked about it. We basically just said it sucks, and then we moved on. I don't know if that annoyed anybody, but, I mean, as S2 said, it really does suck, but I take the Ultimator 3-cost skill here because I realized that Ultimator's 3-cost skill is actually, like, on paper it could actually be pretty good, but it's just Ultimator is the wrong character to give it to. So in this mode, if you give the Ultimate 3-cost to someone, I think it actually can be very powerful. I also take the Apex Boots, of course, because Apex Boots is always nice. Okay, so it says if an ally within 2 blocks is attacked, it will inflict a debuff that lowers the unit range by 2. So basically what it means is that if you attack the enemies when they're close to each other, it will inflict you with a debuff that does not allow you to attack next turn, because you cannot dispel and you cannot resist this debuff. Is trying to route me here. Not a big deal. Rachel's super dead from Ultimator. Ultimator getting his revenge for me crapping on his 3-cost skill. So here I'm... so you can see I can't attack at all because I got the range reduction. Again, thank God I got that juggler talent because AoEs could actually, like, I think AoEs can actually, like, beat my party pretty bad. Speed up over here. So there, one of my DPS can attack still, because I attacked last turn. It's okay, Freya. his counters. And his death. Finish off ultimately with the Ashram attack, because why not? Alright, let's see what we get here. Okay, Astaroth again, and that is Storm Calories, which is... Storm Calories is the Queen Scepter, and I believe that was a Peacemaker, so Queen Scepter, you know... I don't like the Queen Scepter very much. You know, if you can keep the Queen Scepter effect active, obviously it's a pretty good staff, or rather it's a hammer. You know, obviously it's good if you can keep that up, but I don't like effects like that require you to be above 80% HP. I mean, sometimes, I think Full Moon is okay for certain situations, but yeah, I hate having that on equipment a lot of the time. Even for someone like Shelfenil, where it's like, for a while some people put Queen Scepter on Shelfenil because they figured, you know, Shelfenil has to be high HP anyway because of her talent. But the way I see it is that if you put all your eggs in that basket, you know, where it's like, you know, you stack a lot of things where it says, oh, you need to be above a certain amount of HP, then it's like, once you're below that HP, you lose so much power. So I said this a bit earlier, but I still think that now is that this mode's like basically its tutorial, I think, went on a bit too long. So even at this point, even though the enemies have started to be a real threat to me at some points, I feel like the difficulty still scales quite low. Okay, that's... Attacking damage plus 35%, damage taken plus 30%. So that one's like an archer damage one, so obviously I give it to Sigma here. Okay, when you take... so basically it just says when you take damage, you put a curse on your enemy. It says when you... Okay, basically what it says is that when you get hit, you will put a curse on your enemy that reduces the damage dealt by not just themselves, but I believe the allies around them as well. So right here you can start to see that the time laws are scaling up a little bit. It's not just a straight, okay, we take less damage now. It's actually a debuff that will stack. So thankfully here the enemy AI decides they're too busy guarding and healing each other to finish off Freya. So I triggered the Actican on Freya, which allows her to put her guard up and heal herself. Yeah, look at all those debuffs. And it should be noted that even though like each debuff only does 10%, you can see that there's no time limit on those. So like if the fight drags on, the debuffs will just stack and stack and stack until you're just doing 40 damage the whole time. Alright, Blood Sword, Azure Legend, Dark Crown. Yeah, not the worst. I mean, they're just stat sticks. So magic damage taken minus 50% back to this time wall again. So Dark Scythe, and that is the Imelda 3-cost skill, and that is Ash Glow Strike from Brenda. I'll take the Imelda equip just in case I need it for something. I really don't need Ash Glow Strike at this point. I think I have enough crazy nuking physical nukes that I don't need another one. So I take the Odin's battle helmet here because I realized that I didn't have a helmet for Rachel there. Our upgrade store. I upgrade Brenda to 7 cost, so in case I want to equip a 3-cost skill on her, plus 2 other 2-cost skills. So now I'm just going through and upgrading the rest of my equipment. Upgrading the armor on my DPS now as well, just to make sure I don't die to a stiff breeze. Wearing around town, hold up. Alright, getting the clock skill on Brenda to level 4. As you see, it has a 70% chance to activate now. I mean, I don't think I need to explain any more about how ridiculous that is. Getting the Breeze ability up. So I also leveled the Azure Legend, as you saw. Okay, so right here I'm actually just going to put the Ultimate 3 cost skill on Brenda here, just to test it out a little bit. So this is the Voyage 15 boss. So this, once again, every 5 levels, like I said, there is a harder boss. And this boss is also quite a tough one, I think. So the basic gist of this boss is that it's similar to the Valkyrie in that every time you attack it, it will change the same class type as whoever attacked it. In addition, every time this boss changes class type, it will gain a stack of a buff. And then every 3 turns it will cleanse all of these buffs and then summon a minion, which you then have to kill. Because it gives itself a shield that does not go away until you kill the minion, and the minion is stronger the more stacks it has, so you can't just keep switching classes on the boss if you don't want to deal with a very, very strong minion. But if you kill a stronger minion, it also means that you get a buff from killing that minion that increases your damage output, allowing you to attack the boss for more damage, because as you can see, the boss has a lot of HP. And I don't know if you could actually beat it if you just fought it normally in the amount of time they give you. In addition, you can see the other 3 skills he has. He has that meteor-looking skill is an AoE attack that lowers the stats of everyone it hits, which is nice that I have Liana here. He also has a skill that buffs all the units, all the enemy units on the field. And finally, he has one more ability that summons 3 minions when he's below a certain amount of health. This is probably the most dangerous skill he has, actually, as you'll see in a minute. So you can see I failed my first attempt at this stage. At this point I actually took a break. because I had been playing for a while. So here you can see I'm actually going to switch Brenda over to Cavalry class. Part of the reason for that is because a lot of the ads that were summoned by the boss were infantry class, and obviously I don't want to deal with that with the Lancer Brenda. The unfortunate thing is I don't have a lot of equipment for a Cav Brenda right now. I also take off the Ultimator 3-cost skill. Even though the Ultimator 3-cost skill does provide for some interesting plays, the problem that you might have seen me run into during my first run is that when Brenda acted again, she had taken so much damage that she couldn't really do anything with her second turn. So I had no choice to just end her turn. That's one of the problems with the Ultimator 3-cost skill. I mean, that's always been a problem even on Ultimator himself, is that when you use it, it's like, okay, I can't, unless I have some kind of sustain. Ultimator has reinforcements, and he has vampire bats, but that's really not good enough. So here I also switched the troops on them so that they are pure infantry and pure cav. Try to take advantage of the class advantage if I can. And as mentioned, the boss is kind of like the Valkyrie in that he will change class type whenever you attack him, so sticking to just one type of unit in any given unit is probably a good idea. So yeah, Ultimator 3-cost in this mode, I think you can do some interesting combos with it, but you have to make sure that it's on a unit that has some kind of self-sustain or some way to prevent them from taking damage. So for example, if you put the Ultimator 3-cost on Elwyn, that would obviously be just very, very, very powerful. You can put it on Sigma. Sigma could just increase the range of the 3-cost skill. I mean, technically, you could also extend the range of the Ultimator 3-cost by equipping Lana's talent onto somebody, I think. But obviously the problem with that is that Lana's talent doesn't really do anything else in that case because it's magic damage. So this first ad is a cavalry. I just sort of ignore it. I get the act again on Brenda, so I decided to just attack it. So I make a mistake here. I beat up the ad, which gives me another turn, and you're supposed to use this extra turn to attack the boss with. So I kind of wasted it there. You can see the mass amount of debuffs is also kind of a problem. So Liana, this is another good reason reason it's good that I picked Liana over Almeida at the start. So Brenda getting beat up pretty bad here. Thankfully I have the Ashram revive. So now I'd better take care of the ads before I get overwhelmed. Area and act again, which allows me to put the bar back up. Now that the ads are out of the way, I think that's pretty much the hard part of the fight done with. Alright, so that is the boss for the 15th stage over. Let's take another break here. First, let's take a look. This is Rain's 3 cost, that is Varakia's 3 cost, and that is Cheer of, and that is Enduring Hope, which obviously I will take because there's a severe lack of buffs in this mode, but before we move on, let's take another break.